A heat wave is a period of abnormally hot weather, typically lasting for several days or even weeks. It's characterized by significantly higher temperatures than usual for a particular region during that time of year. Key characteristics of heat waves. High temperatures, the most defining feature, with temperatures well above average for the location and season. Extended duration. Heat waves typically last for several days, allowing heat to accumulate and intensify the effects. High humidity. High humidity can significantly increase the perceived temperature, heat index, making it feel much hotter than the actual air temperature. Heat waves can have a significant impact on our lives, affecting our health, economy, and environment. Here are some of the ways heat waves can impact us. Health impacts. Heat-related illnesses. Extreme heat can lead to heat stroke, heat exhaustion, and other heat-related illnesses, especially among vulnerable populations such as the elderly, children, and people with chronic health conditions. Respiratory problems. Heat waves can worsen air quality, leading to increased respiratory problems like asthma and bronchitis. Mental health. Prolonged exposure to extreme heat can negatively impact mental health, leading to increased stress, anxiety, and depression. Economic impacts. Reduced productivity. High temperatures can reduce worker productivity, leading to economic losses. Increased energy demand. Heat waves increase the demand for air conditioning, which can strain power grids and lead to blackouts. Damage to infrastructure. Extreme heat can damage infrastructure, such as roads and bridges, leading to costly repairs. Agriculture and food security. Heat waves can adversely affect agriculture, leading to crop failures and reduced food production. Environmental impacts. Water scarcity. Increased evaporation due to heat waves can exacerbate water scarcity, impacting both human populations and ecosystems. Wildfires. Hot, dry conditions can increase the risk of wildfires, which can destroy forests, homes, and wildlife habitats. Ecosystem disruption. Heat waves can disrupt ecosystems, leading to changes in plant and animal populations. To mitigate the impacts of heat waves, it is crucial to take preventive measures such as staying hydrated, avoiding outdoor activities during peak heat hours, and seeking shade. Additionally, governments and communities can implement strategies to reduce heat island effects in urban areas, improve energy efficiency, and promote sustainable land use practices. Several regions around the world are particularly vulnerable to heat waves due to a combination of factors, including climate change, urbanization, and socioeconomic conditions. Here are some of the most vulnerable regions. 1. South Asia. Countries like India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh are highly susceptible to heat waves, especially during the summer months. Urban heat islands, where cities are significantly warmer than surrounding rural areas, exacerbate the heat wave risk. High population density and limited access to cooling infrastructure further compound the vulnerability. 2. Middle East and North Africa. Countries in this region, such as Iraq, Iran, and Saudi Arabia, experience extreme heat, especially during the summer. Arid and semi-arid climates, coupled with rising temperatures, make these regions highly vulnerable to heat waves. 3. Southern Europe. Countries like Spain, Italy, and Greece have experienced increasingly intense and frequent heat waves in recent years. Urbanization and aging populations contribute to the vulnerability of these regions. 4. Western North America. Regions in the western United States and Canada, particularly California and British Columbia, are prone to heat waves, especially during the summer and early fall. Wildfires, exacerbated by heat and drought, can further worsen air quality and increase heat-related health risks. 5. Australia. Large parts of Australia, especially the interior and coastal regions, are susceptible to heat waves. Extreme heat and bushfires are common occurrences, particularly during the summer months. It's important to note that climate change is intensifying heat waves, making them more frequent, severe, and longer lasting. As a result, the vulnerability of these regions is increasing, necessitating adaptation and mitigation strategies to protect populations from the adverse impacts of heat waves. The major causes of heat waves can be attributed to both natural and human-induced factors. Natural factors. High-pressure systems. These systems trap warm air near the Earth's surface, preventing its dispersal. Lack of cloud cover. Clear skies allow for direct sunlight to heat the ground, leading to higher temperatures. Ocean currents. Warm ocean currents can contribute to warmer air temperatures over land. Human-induced factors. Climate change. The increasing greenhouse gas emissions from human activities, such as burning fossil fuels, are warming the planet and making heat waves more frequent and intense. A very tall man-Jeshil island effect. A very tall man-Jeshil concrete and asphalt surfaces absorb and retain heat, leading to higher temperatures compared to surrounding rural areas. It's important to note that the combined effect of these factors, particularly the influence of climate change, is exacerbating the frequency and intensity of heat waves worldwide. Cold waves. A chilly phenomenon. A cold wave is a weather event characterized by a significant drop in temperature over a large area. It's often associated with harsh winter conditions, including freezing temperatures, snowstorms, and icy roads. Causes of cold waves. Cold waves are typically caused by 1. Polar vortex disruptions. The polar vortex is a large area of low pressure and cold air that circulates around the Earth's poles. Sometimes, this vortex can weaken, allowing cold air to spill southward and bring frigid temperatures to regions that aren't typically accustomed to such cold conditions. 2. Arctic oscillation. This is a climate pattern that affects temperatures and pressure patterns in the northern hemisphere. A negative phase of the Arctic oscillation can lead to colder winters in parts of North America and Europe. 3. Siberian high. This is a high-pressure system that can form over Siberia during the winter months. It can bring cold, dry air masses southward, causing frigid temperatures in regions like Europe and Asia. Impacts of cold waves. Cold waves can have significant impacts on human life, infrastructure, and the environment. Health risks. Hypothermia, frostbite, increased respiratory illnesses, cardiovascular problems, infrastructure damage, frozen pipes, power outages, transportation disruptions, damage to crops and livestock, economic losses, reduced productivity, increased energy consumption, damage to infrastructure. Preparing for cold waves. To stay safe during a cold wave, it's essential to dress in layers. Wear warm clothing, including hats, gloves, and scarves. Stay indoors. Limit outdoor exposure to cold weather. Check on vulnerable individuals. Ensure that elderly neighbors, friends, and family members are safe and warm. Prepare your home. Insulate your home, seal any cracks, and have a backup heat source. Protect your pipes. Insulate pipes and let faucets drip to prevent freezing. Have an emergency kit. Stock up on essential supplies, such as water, food, and medications. By understanding the causes and impacts of cold waves, we can take steps to protect ourselves and our communities from the dangers of extreme cold. Some of the hottest regions in the world include the Sahara Desert. This vast desert in North Africa is known for its scorching temperatures, with daytime highs often exceeding 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 degrees Celsius. The Arabian Peninsula. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Oman experience extremely hot and arid conditions, especially during the summer months. The Thar Desert. This desert in India and Pakistan is characterized by high temperatures and low rainfall. The Lut Desert, Iran. This desert is considered one of the hottest places on Earth, with recorded temperatures reaching 159.3 degrees Fahrenheit, 70.7 degrees Celsius. Death Valley, California. This desert valley in the United States holds the record for the highest recorded temperature on Earth, reaching 134 degrees Fahrenheit, 56.7 degrees Celsius in 1913. It's important to note that climate change is causing temperatures to rise globally, making many regions more vulnerable to heat waves and extreme heat events. The coldest place on Earth is a high ridge located on the East Antarctic Plateau, where temperatures can fall to minus 136 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 93.2 degrees Celsius. Other extremely cold regions include Vostok Station, Antarctica. This Russian research station holds the record for the coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth, minus 89.2 degrees Celsius, minus 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Oymyakon, Russia. This Siberian village is the coldest permanently inhabited place on Earth, with average winter temperatures around minus 50 degrees Celsius, minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Amundsen Scott South Pole Station, Antarctica. This research station experiences extremely cold temperatures, especially during the winter months. These regions are characterized by extreme cold, harsh weather conditions, and limited human habitation. Warm ocean currents are those that move from the equator to the poles and are warmer than the surrounding water. They play a significant role in shaping global climate patterns by transporting heat from the tropics to higher latitudes. Some of the most prominent warm ocean currents include Gulf Stream, a powerful current in the Atlantic Ocean that flows north along the eastern coast of North America, bringing warm water from the tropics to the northern latitudes. Kuroshio Current, a strong current in the Pacific Ocean that flows north along the east coast of Asia, bringing warm water from the tropics to Japan and the surrounding areas. North Equatorial Current, a major ocean current that flows westward across the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans, driven by the trade winds. South Equatorial Current, a major ocean current that flows westward across the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans, driven by the trade winds. East Australian Current, a warm current that flows south along the east coast of Australia, bringing warm water from the tropics to the southern latitudes. These warm currents have a profound impact on the climate of the regions they influence, often bringing milder temperatures and increased precipitation. They also play an important role in marine ecosystems, supporting diverse marine life and influencing the distribution of various species. Cold ocean currents are those that flow from the poles towards the equator and are colder than the surrounding water. They play a significant role in shaping global climate patterns by transporting cold water from higher latitudes to lower latitudes. Some of the most prominent cold ocean currents include Humboldt Current, Peru Current, a cold current that flows north along the west coast of South America, bringing cold water from the Antarctic to the equatorial latitudes. Benguela Current, a cold current that flows north along the west coast of Africa, bringing cold water from the Antarctic to the equatorial latitudes. California Current, a cold current that flows south along the west coast of North America, bringing cold water from the north to the equatorial latitudes. Canary Current, a cold current that flows south along the west coast of Africa, bringing cold water from the north to the equatorial latitudes. Labrador Current, a cold current that flows south along the east coast of North America, bringing cold water from the Arctic to the equatorial latitudes. These cold currents have a profound impact on the climate of the regions they influence, often bringing cooler temperatures and drier conditions. They also play an important role in marine ecosystems, supporting diverse marine life and influencing the distribution of various species. Key differences between warm and cold ocean currents. Temperature. Warm currents are warmer than the surrounding water, while cold currents are colder. Direction of flow. Warm currents generally flow from the equator to the poles, while cold currents flow from the poles to the equator. Impact on climate. Warm currents bring milder temperatures and increased precipitation, while cold currents bring cooler temperatures and drier conditions. Impact on marine life. Warm currents support a greater diversity of marine life than cold currents. Both warm and cold ocean currents play a crucial role in shaping the Earth's climate and marine ecosystems. They are constantly interacting with each other, creating complex patterns of circulation that influence weather patterns, ocean temperatures, and the distribution of marine life around the globe. El-Nino is a climate pattern that describes the unusual warming of surface waters in the eastern Pacific Ocean. This warming disrupts the normal patterns of ocean currents and atmospheric circulation, leading to significant impacts on weather around the globe. Key characteristics of El-Nino. Warmer than average sea surface temperatures. In the central and eastern Pacific Ocean, the water becomes significantly warmer than usual. Weakening of trade winds. The easterly trade winds that normally blow across the Pacific Ocean weaken or even reverse direction. Changes in rainfall patterns. El Nino can lead to increased rainfall in some regions, such as the southern United States and parts of South America, while causing drought in other areas, such as Indonesia and Australia. Disruptions to marine ecosystems. The changes in ocean temperature and circulation can disrupt marine ecosystems, affecting the distribution and abundance of fish and other marine life. Impacts of El Nino. Changes in weather patterns. El Nino can lead to a variety of weather impacts around the world, including changes in temperature, precipitation, and the frequency and intensity of storms. Economic impacts. El Nino can have significant economic impacts, particularly in regions that rely on agriculture or fishing. Humanitarian impacts. El Nino can also have humanitarian impacts, such as increased risk of flooding, drought, and food shortages. El Nino is a complex phenomenon that is not fully understood, but scientists continue to study it in order to improve our ability to predict and prepare for its impacts. La Nina is the opposite of El Nino. It's a climate pattern that describes the unusual cooling of surface waters in the eastern Pacific Ocean. This cooling disrupts the normal patterns of ocean currents and atmospheric circulation, leading to significant impacts on weather around the globe. Key characteristics of La Nina. Cooler than average sea surface temperatures. In the central and eastern Pacific Ocean, the water becomes significantly cooler than usual. Strengthening of trade winds. The easterly trade winds that normally blow across the Pacific Ocean strengthen, pushing more warm water towards Asia. Changes in rainfall patterns. La Nina can lead to increased rainfall in some regions, such as the southern United States and parts of South America, while causing drought in other areas, such as Indonesia and Australia. Disruptions to marine ecosystems. The changes in ocean temperature and circulation can disrupt marine ecosystems, affecting the distribution and abundance of fish and other marine life. Impacts of La Nina. Changes in weather patterns. La Nina can lead to a variety of weather impacts around the world, including changes in temperature, precipitation, and the frequency and intensity of storms. Economic impacts. La Nina can have significant economic impacts, particularly in regions that rely on agriculture or fishing. Humanitarian impacts. La Nina can also have humanitarian impacts, such as increased risk of flooding, drought, and food shortages. La Nina is a complex phenomenon that is not fully understood, but scientists continue to study it in order to improve our ability to predict and prepare for its impacts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on my latest content.